I knew that she would probably raise her level, so just really focusing on trying to keep doing what was working and not get rattled if there's longer points or she comes up with some really good shots, and just, try to keep going, keep the momentum going, and not panic.
Okay. Thank you. Congratulations. Name and affiliation. Court first, please. Thank you.
WTA. Congrats, Maddie. Just in terms of the game plan tonight, it seemed like short points go to the net, whether it worked or not, just to keep things short. Can you talk through just a little bit of what you tried to do? And then just also on the serve, your percentage is pretty high for the tournament, and I'm curious whether or not that's taking speed off or you're just grooving it and hitting it the way that you want to be hitting it.
I have been, really focusing on the serve. Actually, it's funny. Bjorn has been wanting me to go after it more. So he said if I hit a 121, I get anything that I want. And I hit a 119 tonight, so I was so close. But no, honestly, it's just, I feel like I've just been trying to pick my spots and be really smart with it. I think these courts, for the most part, are kind of taking the ball pretty well, so there's really no need to overdo things. So I've just been trying to be really smart and more placement than anything. And the game plan tonight was try to get to the net when I could. Definitely not in any sort of rush to get to the net, but just try to set points up and kind of have the momentum of going forward. I feel like I play a little bit, more controlled aggressive when I'm trying to build points to get to the net instead of trying to hit a straight winner.
Okay. Ava.
Ava Wallace, Washington Post. Congrats, Madison. I'm wondering, leaving aside the fact that it was on a completely different service, but obviously you face Arena again coming up, what will you take from your match at Wimbledon?
I think there's obviously a lot of things that I can take from the match. The number one thing being she beat me. But I think that there's still going to be, similar patterns and tendencies that she has that I can definitely lean into. And also, in the second set at Wimbledon, I was up a break and I had chances and I was definitely in the match and had opportunities. So I think even though I lost that match, it wasn't like, I wasn't in the match and I had no idea what I was doing out there. So I think there's a lot of positives that I can take out of that match and try to implement tomorrow.
Okay. Andrew.
Andrew Jones, ESPN Landscape. Madison, before we continue to talk about one of your more clutcher performances, considering the break points that you saved against her, at the beginning of the match, that fan, unfortunately, having that incident, and you seem to help out by offering a bottle of water. Can you just talk about staying locked in, and that fan we've heard is now doing at least okay. So your whole thoughts about that whole moment just to start that match.
Obviously not how you want to start a match, but I feel like in situations like that, I can't really do many things other than offer towels and water. And I mean, it just felt like the right thing to do. I checked in with the doctor after, and he's doing a lot better. So obviously not how you want to have to start a match, but the reality of it is you kind of have to get right back to it pretty quickly. And was luckily able to kind of settle and then move forward with the match.
And the opposite end of that, of the extremes, was in the fifth game of the first set when you were trying to save break point at 4-love up, and that net court having that high bounce when you thought it possibly was going to go on your side, only to trickle over on her side, and you eventually win that game. Was that the wildest net court that you've ever played, of the many wild net courts in your career you can think of?
That's probably, if it's not the wildest, it's definitely in the top 3.
Brian.
Brian Mahoney, Associated Press. On that point, you were almost conceding the point, like that she was going to just either hit a winner or it was going to land on your side. When you actually win that point somehow and then she can't break you, does it ever in your mind as the match is going on say, if she didn't get that one, she's not going to get any against me, I can sort of defend any of these?
I mean, obviously it was a really lucky point to win, and quite honestly, I shouldn't have won that point, but I think there were a few points that I also gave to her tonight. So I think realistically in a match, you have points like that go back and forth. I feel like you either have points that go back and forth like that or you have none. So tonight it was kind of a thing where they went back and forth, but I got pretty lucky there and just took advantage of that.
Willie.
Willie Weinbaum from ESPN, congratulations. You've spoken before about the emotional grind of the tour and of the majors. What role do you think emotion has played in your most recent successes?
I think I've had just really good mindset going into the matches and have been trying to be maybe just a little bit more emotionally balanced. I think in the past, just having kind of more of the highs and lows leading into the matches and getting a lot more nervous and things like that has ultimately led to either being more tired the next round or things like that. But I think, the last couple of months I've been just pretty even-keeled, and being able to consistently do that day in and day out, I think leads to good things.
And is there time for
Yeah, go
a
ahead.
second? You spoke a moment ago about facing Arena. How would you describe her as a player, and what do you think are the biggest similarities in your games?
I think she's obviously a phenomenal tennis player. There's a reason she's going to be number one on Monday. She has a ton of power. She serves really well. And to be quite honest, the year that she was able to have with the serving troubles that she had, I think it just shows she's an incredible competitor and fighter. And she's really, really good. So I think tomorrow it's definitely going to be a lot of who can get in charge of the point as early as possible, because I feel like both of our games, if you get behind in the point, it's a lot harder to get back to neutral and then get back on the aggressive side.
Okay. Court.
Can I ask you what was on the note from Sloane?
She just said, she's basically rooting for me, proud of me, and just to keep going.
You ask us a separate question.
Yes, you can.
But just in general, you're into a semifinal. It's like a lot of them in your career. We're only really mentioning it at the moment that you're into a major semifinal. Is there any sense of, people forgot about Madison Keys? Jess Pegula was kind of saying that we all did after you routined her. But was any of that, like, any motivation at all in terms of how well you've been playing and kind of coming in under the radar?
Honestly, it's been great. I love that none of you talk about me anymore. I don't have press requests. It's a lot off of my plate. I kind of just come in and leave, and no complaints. So if you guys want to keep not talking about me, I'm more than happy.
We'll just have a few more questions. Thank you. Tamani, please.
Madison, Tamani Kara from The Guardian. I'm sorry if this has been asked, but given how success you've had at slams, I'm just curious what way you think it says about, I guess, your personality or the way you approach tennis. Why do you think you've been able to have such sustained success at all the slams, all services for such a long time?
I think that it's obviously, I just kind of find another gear when it comes to slams. I think part of it is that I put a little bit more pressure on myself, which is a good thing and also a bad thing sometimes. But I've just kind of peaked at the right time, I guess. I haven't had too many disappointing exits at slams. I've had a handful, obviously, but I feel like when it comes to slams, I'm just able to kind of find another gear, even if I haven't been playing well.
Madison, this will be the final question of the press conference. Ava. Oh, Tamani, I'm sorry.
So, just how do you put good pressure on yourself then without it being too much?
I think sometimes I do it well and sometimes I do it really badly, but I think it's just kind of reminding yourself these are the matches that you grow up dreaming of, and these are the moments that you want to be in. So that kind of pressure of it's the big stage, but also just the reminder of this is literally what we've all dreamed of. And these are the moments that you're practicing for and you're playing for and you're constantly trying to get back to. So it's it's a little bit of pressure, but it's also a little bit of a freeing moment of, I mean, I'm just going to go out and try to do the best that I can.